Hi, this is Sarah Marshall, your operations architect. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Value Delivery Spine series. Today we're tackling the business model refresh. And let's just jump right into it. What's a business model? The business model is the business end of an organization, at least a money-making organization. The business model is that plan and structure that we put in place to pursue our customers and clients and generate revenue and make profit. It's the most critical part of setting up the business because if you don't have that in place, you won't be making revenues, and then there's no point in having any operations to speak of. So let's talk about what it takes to get such a model in place by starting with what kinds of models are there. Well, if you look up on the internet today, business model, you're going to read articles that will list out somewhere in, depending on the article, somewhere between 8 and 12 different kinds of business models. But if you really look at those models carefully, they fit in 3 general categories. First category is what we call B2C, or business to customer. If you buy a hot dog from a hot dog stand, or you're getting a movie from Netflix, those are all businesses that are providing something, a service or a product, to a specific customer. So I, as the individual, am getting the benefit of what that business has to offer. That's the B2C model. And it is focused on getting product, filling a gap, solving a problem for individuals. B2B is the model in which we pursue as a business, we pursue other businesses. So in this business model, the engagements tend to be longer. It takes a while to develop the relationship. The stakes tend to be higher because the purchases are either in bulk or they're for some service that's going to be complex and fairly costly to deploy. And these services take a while to develop and put into place. The clients and customers tend to be much more sophisticated in their approach. It tends to be less about the emotional appeal of the product and more about what that product solves in terms of an organization's problems or what gap it fills. So it tends to be a different kind of relationship. And the last one is the marketplace platform. And this is something that you've gotten familiar with in the last 10 years with Uber or Lyft or Airbnb, those providers. Even the biggest part of Amazon is connecting sellers with buyers. So the platform is there to move connect sellers to buyers, and create complete transactions and facilitate the service or the product delivery. So those are the 3 types of basic models. I think if you look at what's out there and the various articles on what business models are, you'll find that they tend to fit in these 3 kind of categories. Why is it important for us to understand these categories? It's because delivering to an individual and delivering to a business or facilitating transactions have very different implications for how the company needs to structure itself and run. Let's start with what we do in the company. We develop products or services or both, or deliver some level of operational performance to an organization that to us is within our mission and within our value set. But our customers aren't looking at us typically for our products or our services or our operational performance. They're looking for us to provide them value in terms of those services or products. What it means is we are attempting to solve a customer's problem with a value proposition. It may involve all of our products and services, some of our products and services, but it has to be meaningful for the customer. So we are setting up to deliver that value proposition to our clients and customers to satisfy their needs. In order to do that, we need to understand our customers. And the customer base is all the customers that we serve. We tend to segment them so that we can better approach them, capture them, gather gather information about that particular customer segment, and we can set up our business to serve them. Now, there's a couple ways we can do that. We can sell directly to them. You can see my little red segment up here. I'm going to sell directly to those folks. So I'm going to reach out, try to understand what their individual needs are, and provide them something that solves for their particular need or problem, and fill the gap between where they are now and where they would like to be. We can also set up additional channels in which we are approaching those customers and delivering products or services to those customers as well. And those channels will look different. For B2C, we may be going through distributors and retailers to get our products out in the market. Or if it's a B2B product, we may be going through reseller intermediaries or integration specialists to get our products and services out to them. But there are all sorts of channels we can set up so that we are providing for our particular customer segments in the way that they need to be provided for. We also, once we are engaging with them, we want to ensure that the customer experience for the lifetime of our engagement with them keeps them happy and satisfied. And so we are also not only managing the initial sales effort to point of purchase, we are also managing our relationship with them for the life of the product. And we may do that in many different ways, depending on our product set and what our customers need. Finally, for all that, we get revenues, and we need to manage those revenues so that we are continuously growing as an organization and profitable so that we can live to fight another day. Now, since this series is about delivering operational capability, why are we talking about the business model? Well, that's a great question. The business model itself has some operational needs. It's going to take some operational capability to manage those channels. But that's not all the business model does. Once the business model is set up so to serve that customer base, our whole company, our whole organization is going to have to line up behind that to ensure that we can deliver to our promises. So that requires operational support. And the business model, once it's structured, will dictate the terms, provide the guidelines for how we're going to build that operational support to support the business model. That includes the key activities we do. If we have physical products, then we probably have a supply chain that we have to manage. If we're delivering software products, then we have a whole software operations behind the scene to manage the software as it gets delivered to our customers and the customers are running on it. But there will be some back-end set of key activities that we need to pursue to support our business model. We have key resources that we're going to have to deploy around that business model and ensure that we are doing the work to reach those markets, maintain those customer relationships, and then deliver on the demand that our clients have. We also potentially have key partnerships, and certainly our resellers or distributors or retail operations will be key partners, but we also have supply partners and supporting partners to support us as well, and we will have to manage those relationships. And finally, there's the cost structure that we're going to have to support, because delivering products and services out to the world costs money, and we're going to have to manage and maintain a certain cost structure around that. So again, we maintain our profitability. All that is to say that we are framing up how we need to build out our operational infrastructure by supporting the business model. So there's 3 levels of things we're considering in the business model. We've already talked in our strategy development episode about the things we need to bring into the strategy considerations, the context, the vision, the objectives that we're trying to meet out in the marketplace. And then we have to build out that strategy and go after our target customers and clients in the markets and industry that we can best plan. At the next level, We also have new offerings that we're going to be pushing out into the environment. We need to look at what we've already had in place and where we need to go with our new products and services and the intelligence that we are using to support that. And then finally, there's demand fulfillment. And that is, once we have products and services into place, how do we ensure that we continuously fulfill on the demand for those products? And again, if you have a supply chain, you will be running your supply chain through this. If you have other kinds of operations, you'll ensure that they are effectively operating at the highest performance levels that they can. So let's take a relook at these 3 levels of considerations to operationalize our business model. We need to ask a set of questions. We have internal considerations. What's our current mission? How do we measure success? What are the things that tell us that we're performing well? And on the other side, you've already seen a lot of these in my past presentation, but what are the opportunities out there? What are the challenges confronting us? What are our clients asking for? Who's primary? Who else do we want to pull into the mix? In offerings, we want to look at our current roadmap and what we have in our technology trends that are affecting that roadmap, and then look at what the industry is demanding, the market is demanding, the customers are demanding, and ensuring that we are delivering in a way that is effective to those groups. And then finally, in the demand, what kind of structure do we have in place? What does our supply chain look like? How are we organized? And then how are we going to deliver on what folks are asking for next? So these are the questions we continuously ask ourselves as we look at the business model to figure out how we're going to operationalize. The summary on this is the business model is the structure that tells us how we're going to engage with clients and customers and capture revenues. Operational support is what we need to have in place to support the demand that we'll have, either in initial sales or ongoing support and capabilities. Considerations for that is translating that business model into our operational support. And you saw some of the questions we might be asking at all 3 of those levels. Direction and strategy, a new offering level, and demand fulfillment level. And if we have all those things in place, we can have a pretty effectively supported business model. Now, if you want to know more about business model refreshes and the structure underneath it, you can see my article at Refreshing Your Business Model. You can find all of my content on my blog, www.operations-architect.com. Thank you so much and have a great day.